Good morning, dear students. As you all know that your periodical 2 examinations are approaching, here is the revision for your Chapter 6 Understanding Our Criminal Justice System Political Science. In this chapter, we talked about the case study of Shanti. She was a maid who was working at Mr. and Mrs. Shinde's place. One day, Mrs. Shinde finds that her gold chain is missing and she believes that the chain is being stolen by Shanti. The entire case study is about whether to find Shanti is a culprit or not. In this process of or a criminal justice system, few people play very important role like judge, police, public prosecutor, defense, witnesses. Now let us understand the chapter in detail and revise it quickly. When we see someone violating the law, we immediately think of informing the police. You might have seen in the real life or in the movies that whenever any wrong thing is happening in the society, people go and inform it to the police. Because of the role played by the police in arresting persons, we also get confused that whether it is police who decides that person has done a crime or not. Basically, the role of a police is just to find out about whom the FIR being registered, do the investigation, register the charge sheet, present it to the court, and then the role of a police is over. The decision is being made by the judge sitting in the court. According to the Constitution, every individual charged of a crime has to be given a fair trial. The four key players in the criminal justice systems are police, public prosecutor, defense lawyer, and the judge. With this, we have already discussed in the case of Shanti. When any accused is being arrested, it is the Constitution which gives few fundamental rights to the accused. Article 22 of the Constitution and criminal law guarantees to every arrested person the following fundamental right. First, the right to be informed at the time of arrest of the offense for which the person is being arrested. Second, the right to be presented before a magistrate within 24 hours of arrest. Third, the right not to be ill treated or tortured during arrest or in custody. Fourth, confessions made in police custody cannot be used as evidences against the accused. Fifth, a boy under 15 years of age and women cannot be called to the police station only for questioning. D.K. Basu's guidelines. The Supreme Court of India has laid down specific requirements and procedures that the police and other agencies have to follow for the arrest, detention, and interrogation of any person. These are known as D.K. Basu guidelines, and some of these include: first, the police officials who carry out the arrest or interrogation should wear clear, accurate, and visible identification and name tags with their designations. Second, a memo of arrest should be prepared at the time of arrest and should include the time and date of arrest. According to these guidelines, it should also be attested by at least one witness who could include a family member of the person arrested. The arrest memo should be countersigned by the person arrested. Next, the person arrested, detained, or being interrogated has a right to inform to their relative, friend, as well as well wishers. Next, when a friend or relative lives outside the district, the time, place of arrest, and venue of custody must be notified by the police within 8 to 12 hours after arrest of accused. FIR. The full form of FIR is First Information Report. The FIR also states the name and address of the complainant. There is a prescribed form in which the police registered an FIR and it is signed by the complainant. The complainant also has a legal right to get a free copy of the FIR from the police. Dear students, here you can see a sample of FIR. There are certain columns which includes name, date, area and complaint about the accused. The role of the public prosecutor. Public prosecutor who represent the interest of the state. The role of prosecutor begins once the police has conducted the investigation and filed the charge sheet in the court. He or she has no role to play in investigation. The prosecutor must conduct the prosecution on behalf of the state. As an officer of court, it is her or his duty to act impartially and present the full and material fact, witnesses, and evidences before the. What is the role of the judge? The judge is like an umpire in a game and conducts the trial impartially and in an open court. The judge hears all the witnesses and any other evidence presented by the prosecution and the defense. The judge decides whether the accused person is guilty or innocent on the basis of evidences presented and in accordance with the law. If the accused is convicted, then the judge pronounces the sentence. He may send the person to jail or impose a fine or both depending on what the law prescribes. Now, let us have a quick recap of fair trial. Article 21 of the Constitution that guarantees the right to life state that a person's life or liberty can be taken away only by following a reasonable and just legal procedure. A fair trial ensures that Article 21 of the Constitution is upheld. Firstly, Shanti was given a copy of the charge sheet and all other evidence that the prosecution presented against her. Shanti was charged with the offense of theft that was defined as crime in the law. The trial was held in an open court. In public view, her brother Sushil could attend the court hearings. The trial was held in the presence of the accused. Shanti was defined by a lawyer. Shanti's lawyer, Advocate Roy, was given an opportunity to cross examine all the prosecution witnesses. It is significant that the judge decides the matter only on the basis of the evidences before the court. No personal interest of the judge should be included in the fair trial. The judge did not jump to the conclusion that Shanti was the thief just because she was poor maidservant. Instead, the judge remained impartial. And since the evidence showed that some young men and not Shanti was the thief, he set Shanti free. In Shanti's case, justice was finally done to her because she was given a fair trial. So basically, a fair trial means in which the judge is going to see all the evidences, witnesses, and listen to the public prosecutor and defense. On the basis of evidences, the judge is going to decide whether a person is guilty or innocent. This is being done in the open court where the relatives of the accused or victims can be present. Let us see few important terms. Accused. Accused is a person who has done a crime. Cognizable. In the context of this chapter, cognizable refers to an offense for which the police may arrest a person without the permission of the court. Cross examine. In the context of this chapter, cross examine refers to the questioning of a witness who has already been examined by the opposing side in order to determine the veracity of his or her testimony. Detention. In the context of this chapter, detention refers to the act of being kept in illegal custody by the police. Impartial. The act of being fair or just and not favoring one side over another. Offense. Any act that the law defines as a crime. To be charged of a crime. This refers to the trial judge informing the accused in writing of the offense for which he or she will face trial. Witness. A person who is called upon in the court to provide a first hand information. Dear students, I hope this quick recap will help you to perform well in your examination. All the very best. Kindly read the chapter carefully and attempt all the questions in the question paper. Thank you.